the first step towards prevention is education. And I think that like this program that we're doing is a really great way of like educating us about so many different important things that like by us learning about it, like it's going to help us prevent things like this from happening in the future. Like, God forbid, like sexual assault, like mental health crises, like stuff like that.
No matter what you do in your life, like you always need this.
I really like that each week it was a different topic. So we could really like dive into each topic on its own, and every session had like its own topic. And then how there was a carryover question so we could connect the two topics.
Like each week we spoke for an hour and it felt like 10 minutes and there's still so many more things to share.
I also really like how it was a really like even balance of conversation as well as like learning, and it was a lot of like discussing and what do you think, and I thought it was really like interesting and educational to hear.
I feel like I learned like a healthy balance in a relationship, so it doesn't feel like you're being like drained from the other person. They're like taking everything out of you, and like it's like one-sided kind of, and you're just like their therapist, or like if you're not getting anything out of the friendship.
I'm kind of more aware of like if people are kind of not like using the equality wheel, but if they're like going according to it. And like I'm more aware of how relationship is like, what's the word? Not formulated, but just how like other relationships work. Like I'll notice now if someone's like dominating the relationship and someone else isn't.
Being with like your uncomfortable emotions are really important. So I really liked when we learned about that, because I feel like a lot of people are always like, look at the bright side, you know, what about this? Be happy, be happy. So it makes like people push what they feel away. But it, in a sense, it's like almost just as important to feel your happy emotions as it is to feel your uncomfortable ones. And I feel like that's also like important why we call them uncomfortable emotions and not like bad emotions, because they're not really like bad. They're just like all your emotions have their purpose, and just because they don't feel good doesn't mean they're not good for you.
So I feel like something that I see differently is like the entire idea of mental health as a whole, because like before the program started, I remember thinking like, how is there going to be enough like content for 8 weeks? How much is there about mental health? But like now I see that mental health is in like everything that we do, and there are an endless amount of ways that we could advocate for ourselves.
Knowing that like the way that you feel is like valid, and that like even though like other people might not like say how they feel or whatever, they're most likely also going through the same thing. So also just to like really feel like your feelings are valid and know yourself and really take care of your mental health as a whole.
I would love to like help teach my friends about this in my family, but also I would love to like be a part of bringing this more into Frisch, and like maybe making a program in our health class, or maybe making a club or something that would sort of do like even a fraction of what we learned in this program, because even I think like just a little bit of information is information, and it's like it'll help and start the conversation, and we'll get more kids interested in learning about this.
This is something really important, and usually the people who avoid these programs are the people who need it the most.
I think it's very important to take initiative and bring it into your school.
And I think it should be happening often, like once a week, at least once a month. Because I think these are just like such important topics to talk about, and like we're teenagers, so right now is like kind of the make or break point where we either like learn something and apply it to our lives, or we're stuck in a situation. Like I think Allie said, like it's much easier to avoid a toxic relationship rather than get out of one when you're already in it.
I feel like there's no reason that health class is required, but this shouldn't be required. I feel like it should be like a course. And also, I just feel like you, Kara and Shira, have done such a good job in educating 14 of us. So like even more so, how many people could all 14 of us help to educate? I just feel like if we all help, like maybe we could help lead another program like Project Next Step. And then like it could be a whole chain reaction of mental health awareness. So it would be cool.